I know the excitement is in the air as we're just a few short days away from officially kicking off the college football season for our Southeastern Lions. It's hard to believe that Coach Ron Roberts is about to kick off his 6th season here at Hammond and is looking for his 3rd conference championship in 6 years. Southeastern is coming off a season in which they went 7-4 and won 6 out of 7 down the stretch, and with a numerous amount of returners and some key additions, this team looks poised to once again chase the Southland Conference crown. Good evening, Lion fans. I'm Alan Waddell, and I want to welcome you to the Ron Roberts Radio Show live from our home, Topla Catering, right here at 113 East Thomas Street in downtown Hammond. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be with you until 8 o'clock. Over the next hour, we'll get you ready for the 2017 football season. We'll break down the offseason and take a look at the depth chart going into Week 1, and then we'll tune you up for the season opener this weekend against in-state rival Louisiana Lafayette in a 6 o'clock kickoff at Cajun Field. Let's take a time out, and when we return, I will be joined by the head coach of your Southeastern Lions, Ron Roberts. You're listening to the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest: Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
What does it mean to be Southland strong?
It's not just big wins.
It's success in the classroom
and being engaged with service,
family, passion,
integrity,
overcoming adversity,
hard work and dedication,
bettering people around you,
striving for excellence,
leadership and competition
on our campuses
and in our communities.
We are Southland Strong.
Welcome back inside Topla Catering. This is the debut of the Ron Roberts Radio Show here in 2017 as we're just a few short days away from kicking off the Southeastern Louisiana University football season, as our Lions will be on the road Saturday in a 6 o'clock kickoff to take on in-state rival Louisiana Lafayette to open up the 2017 campaign. At this time, we're going to welcome to the show the reason you're all here to hear from the head football coach of your Southeastern Lions, Coach Ron Roberts. Coach, thanks for being here. And I know you're ready to get this thing going.
Yeah, thank you for everybody showing up here tonight. It's great to be back at downtown Hammond and Topla, and looking forward to an exciting year.
Yeah, back here in 2017, we're here at Topla Catering. It's at 113 East Thomas Street. It's right around the corner from the main restaurant. We have our own room in here. It's great. We have a good crowd in here tonight. I want to thank everyone for coming out. And Coach, I know we want to start the show this week by sending our thoughts and prayers for everyone that is dealing with Hurricane Harvey, tropical storm that is now in Louisiana. But what has happened in the Houston area, I know you have some players on your team that are from the Houston area, some coaching staff members that were affected as well by this. So first of all, is everyone safe? And I know we're thinking about those guys over there in Houston, and hopefully the rain stays out of here. We've had enough flooding over the last 16, 17 months. We hope that stays out of here in our community, but we certainly are thinking about the Houston and Lake Charles community as well.
No doubt, and obviously, a lot of people obviously from Louisiana can sympathize with what they're going through, in our area can as well. But I think all of our players right now are safe. I mean, some of them obviously their families have been devastated right now and lost their homes, and we had some coaches obviously got some connections out. Their families are in Texas as well, and so they've got family members that have lost their homes, and it's always sad to see. But hearts go out for all those people that are going through it.
And we'll certainly see how the weather plays out the rest of the week. It looks like the weather should be out of here and everything should be fine for Saturday, as the game is scheduled for 6 o'clock against UL Lafayette. Coach, I know you got to be excited to get this thing going. At this time of the year, it's always a lot of fun. Camp is going on. And your team has got to be tired of hitting each other and ready to play a game against someone else.
Yeah, it's a great time of year. I mean, this is, it's an exciting week. It's game one. It's the opening of college football season. We have had a great camp. I think our guys have worked extremely hard, but we're ready to go against somebody else. I know our guys are excited about the game, and we're excited to get an opportunity to get on the field and see how well we do and see where we're at and be able to judge ourselves and make our corrections for obviously for conference play.
Coach, I'm sure that most of our listeners here tonight, everyone in attendance as well, the main question they want to know is, how do you feel? How do you feel going into the season right now? You went 7-4 a year ago, 7-2 in the Southland Conference, won 6 out of 7 down the stretch, and now we look up and have a lot of key guys coming back. We've added some impact transfers, some impact junior college players, some impact freshmen as well. How do you feel going into 2017? Where do you, compared to where you were at this time last year?
I think we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we were this time last year. You know, and going into the season was kind of this time last year was kind of a you think we have some potential and all that, but we haven't really produced yet. We hadn't really accomplished anything, and weren't sure how consistent we were going to play, and kind of knew that going in. And that obviously showed the first couple of weeks of the season. We played the same way. We probably didn't play well until probably got to game 4 or 5 before we started to turn the corner and look like a mature ball club. So we're leaps and bounds ahead of that on both sides of the football. So I'm excited to go in there. Again, you want us to obviously play perfect in game 1. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I would love to see us come out there and play this game like a seasoned veteran ball club.
Coach, I've heard you mention a few times in your preseason interviews and at Southland Conference Media Days that you feel like the leadership on this team is maybe at a different level than it's been the last couple of years, that this team's hungry to get back, to hoist that trophy, to get another championship ring, and have a chance to compete for that in the next few months in the Southland Conference.
Yeah, it is. It's not just being more vocal, but there's probably more of them. I think there's more guys that are willing to stand up and say what needs to take place and doing the right things. And they're doing a much better job of policing themselves, and that's really what you want. You want them to police themselves, whether it's the effort's not good enough and they're saying something, or somebody does something that he shouldn't be off the field, and they take care of it themselves before you ever get to it. That's what you want. That type of leadership needs to take place, not just on Saturdays, in the fourth quarter on the field. The leadership's got to take place on Tuesday afternoon. It's got to take place on Saturday night. It's got to take place on Monday at school. It's got to take. There's a lot of places that needs to take place. Guys in the study hall room. So I think we're seeing that, and guys are taking care of business, and that's what we want. We want that workman type mentality. We want to put our hard hats on and go to work, and we want that tough, mentally tough, physically tough football team.
Ron, also, if you look at this year's team going into 2017, maybe the most continuity you've had staff-wise from one year to the next in the last few years. So it seems like everybody on the same page, you're doing the same things multiple years in a row, where over the last couple of years we've had to change, from year one to year 2 of what was happening, and maybe who was calling defense, who was calling offense, and that's not going to be the case here in 2017.
No, I think we do have, that's one of the big, strong, I think, benefits coming into the season. It's Coach Barrett's second year, and that's one of the reasons our offense is a lot light years ahead of where they were. I think just with the things we have in, the offensive package we have in, what they expect, what he expects from them, and what they can expect from, as players can expect from him. And same thing on defense side of the ball, so this is my second year doing it, and I think we're much better clear on what our expectations are and how I want some things done. And I'm in a better situation. Obviously, last year was feeling my way through. There's some things, and I had to obviously change some things, how I'm delegating certain things and take some things off me, and doing that when you're doing dual roles as head coach and being a coordinator.
I'm sure in year 2 that's going to be a little easier to just because you made some mistakes, I'm sure, and have learned from those going forward here into 2017. And Ron, let's talk about I know we talked about Hurricane Harvey just a moment ago with the weather. Have you been able to get work in this week? I know we've been battling a lot of rain, but I know you practice on the turf, but it seems like the last couple of days we got a break in that rain so you could have some practice time. Yeah,
we had a little, we've been really fortunate, so you can't complain at all. We had a little reduced practice last week. I think it was Thursday. We got hit with some rain, and then today we went a little earlier. Got on the field. It wasn't a full practice, but we got to get an hour and a half of work in, which was good. I feel very fortunate right now, and I think we're doing what we need to do to be successful on Saturday.
I know all of our fans are chomping at the bit to get this thing started. Again, it's a great time of the year whenever college football is getting started, and our Lions will kick off the season on Saturday against UL Lafayette. Also a reminder for maybe someone who's new to our show, we're on a different night this week as we're on Tuesday. We're going to be on Tuesday night again next week. So the first 2 weeks, it'll be Tuesday night, and then we'll go back to our normal Monday. But because of a holiday next week, and they had a scheduling conflict for last night, so we'll be right here at Topolak Catering all year long, 7 to 8 o'clock. We'll normally be on Monday, but again, next week will be Tuesday night. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, I'm going to get Coach Roberts to talk about the Lion offense in 2017. We'll give you some names, some key guys to watch, and what we can expect out of that Lion offense right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Wendy's Quick Stop, located just outside the gates of Southeastern on University Drive, has everything you need in a convenience store. If you're looking for a quick snack or a full-service cold drink fountain, hot food to go from Champ's Chicken and Fish 2, or an ice-cold beer, make sure you visit Rendy's Walk-In Beer Cooler. Rendy's also has a huge selection of import and domestic wine. So whether you're running low on gas or whether you just want to pick up lunch or supper to go, visit Rendy's Quick Stop. Rendy's accepts Lions Lanyap for Southeastern students. Rendy's Quick Stop, a proud supporter of Southeastern football.
All right, welcome back inside Topla Catering. Thank you for joining us wherever you may listen to on the network here tonight, as this is the Ron Roberts Radio Show, the premiere in 2017, as our Lions will kick off their season this Saturday in a 6 o'clock kickoff against UL Lafayette. For those that are not in attendance, and those that aren't in attendance, they can see it, but those that are not in attendance, one thing that's a little bit different this year is we are going to be videoing every one of our shows. So if you don't have a chance to listen in, they will be posted to the Southeastern Athletics Facebook page after the show. So that's a chance that you can go back and watch it archived. So I think it's a great idea. Certainly our athletic department doing a great job promoting and getting the media outlets out there to all of our Lion fans. Coach Roberts, let's jump back into our content here of our show, as we're about 15 minutes in to our program. I want to talk about the offense specifically, and let's give our fans a little bit of a chance to know maybe some key names that will be running out there, some newcomers. You mentioned it earlier, Coach Matt Barrett, in his second year, we saw have some great production. We're one of the leaders in the nation last year in yards per completion. Going to run the football, going to be physical. But talk about offensively going into year two under Coach Matt Barrett. How do you feel about it going into Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's obviously usually starts up front. You know what we want to do in that style of play. We want to run the football and be physical, and that's what we are. We're a ground attack. We're going to throw it, but I think it's one of our most veteran offensive line groups we've had. We've got several guys in there that have been around. You talk about, we got 2 fifth-year seniors at guard, and Travis Romero, Michael Vick. They're both fifth-year guys. So older on that part of it. You got some other guys in the mix. Obviously, Drew Jones in his second year. He's going to play some inside also. Shaq McClain from Independence is I guess now he's a redshirt sophomore. Started last year as a freshman, as a redshirt freshman. Started every game. And then at tackle we got everything. It'll probably be coming out game one. It'll probably be Alfred Beverly at right tackle, and that he should get the start coming in. So I think Cyrus Equivalent, we're not sure if he's going to be cleared or not for that. So right now we're kind of not real sure on him. But we've got enough guys, veterans on that. And obviously, left tackle, we've got a newcomer there in Maya Tuame. So who's a great player, and a veteran ball player, and started the last 2 years at LSU, and brings again, just being an experienced veteran football player, and is obviously extremely talented, and he'll be probably one of the most talented offensive linemen in our conference.
Well, I'm sure that's one of the big splashes around FCS football nationally is whenever Maya Tahimo decided that he was going to come here to Southeastern. I know a lot of people in our state saw that news when he was leaving LSU a few weeks ago, and obviously I'm sure his number one recruiter was his brother, Sione, who's playing here for Southeastern. But talk about what this guy brings to the table. This is a guy who has 21 career starts for LSU, started day one in the SEC.
Yeah, he's just, he's obviously very talented. He's big, physical, talented, but he plays the game, exactly how you want it to be played. He's, tremendous effort, very physical, plays it every snap. There's not much anything he can't do. So he's a dominating left tackle.
Ron, I know also anytime you talk about offense in 2017, you got to talk about the quarterback position. There's been a big battle at the quarterback position this fall camp. It started back in the spring. Donovan Isom was returning, a young man from Destrehan who transferred in from Utah. But then also Lorenzo Nunez comes over from South Carolina, has some starts under his belt, again in the SEC for South Carolina. Comes over and transfers in a dual threat quarterback. Talk about this position and where you stand right now going into week 1 and what both these guys bring to the table.
You know, they're both big physical kids that are dual threat guys. You know, it's been a pretty heated competition, a pretty tight battle. There's a positive side with that, is that, you know, we feel like we've got 2 guys that can go in there, compete, and win, and we can win with. And that's really what you got to have in college football nowadays. So I mean, that's an extreme positive on it. Now, both of them have their own set of skills, but they're very similar, probably player-wise. But Lorenzo is very dynamic. Those who've been around here, he's a lot more probably like Brian Bennett than anybody when he, you know, on the perimeter and you know, getting at what he can do with the ball in his hands. Donovan throws a great deep ball. You know, he's a big physical. He's 6'4", 250, or what, you know, he's a big guy. And throws a good deep ball and can run the football, and he's a dual threat guy as well. And he's got a little more experience in our program, and you know, and he's so that's kind of kept the battle kind of tight. Before you know, first Lorenzo had to catch him, and he did. I think he made that progress through the summer and fall camp, and so we've had a pretty tight race coming through here. So we feel like we got 2 coming in, and you're going to see 2 in game 1.
Well, if you think back to every year that you've been here, we've needed to.
Right.
I mean, you go back to 13, 14, there was games Brian missed, and we had to have Jordan Burnett come in and play in the last couple of years with Deshae and Justin Allo and, you know, different guys. Donovan Isom 2 years ago, you know, playing a lot. So it seems like every year you need a couple of guys, so you feel good about that going into the season. Yeah,
that's a good thing. You know, and we got other guys there on the table too. You know, Micah Thomas is also a guy who's a senior. Hasn't played much. His spot had some packages a little bit last year, but didn't get much playing time. But he is dynamic running the football. And then Byron Walker, the freshman out of Sulphur, who's had a great camp, and he shows a lot of promise. I think he's going to be a really good football player for us. You know, just, you know, he's a little freshman, a little behind on those guys, but he's had some great scrimmages, and if he's got to come in and do it, we got confidence in him as well.
Anybody who's been to the scrimmage has been out to practice. We have not seen Juice. He is not. Julius Marcelin has not been active at this point. What's his status going into game 1? Talk about some of those other guys that could be carrying the football, but the last couple of years, obviously, we've seen Juice and what he can do and what kind of physical runner he can be, especially behind this offensive line. But talk about that running back position a little bit. I know you have some newcomers as well. You expect to carry the football a good bit.
I think, you know, it's a position we feel we've got some great depth at. Obviously, the names you're familiar with is Juice, and he's cleared and he's ready to go. And then Eugene Bethea had a tremendous spring and a great fall camp. You know, he's a senior now. Been here 4 years and has had a great career. But I thought, you know, he's really had a tremendous fall camp and spring practice. You know, Darren Johnson is a young man we brought in last year. He redshirted last year. That's in that mix as well. So you're going to see him definitely. And then Darius DeRall, and Darren's a junior, and Darius DeRall is another senior. Spot played a little bit last year, probably didn't get as much playing time. But it's really had a good fall camp. I think one of the pluses that really happened there is we kind of held Juice out all at fall camp. He had knee surgery last May, but I really didn't push the envelope to get him ready just because we knew what he was and he didn't really need to take the banging of fall camp. Type of back he is because he's real physical running the ball and stuff. So. What it did, it really gave those other guys an opportunity to step up, and I thought you really saw Eugene step up, Darren Johnson step up, and Darius DeRall step up. And they got more reps, and they got more time, and they got more experience, so it's really benefited our depth there at running back. So those guys are all, I mean, I think right now you got 4 veterans that can do that, and then we got a young kid, obviously, there in Delmonte Hall, a young man out of Shreveport, the freshman that we signed, he's a freshman, and then Marcus Cooper out of Texas, and is another freshman that, those guys will both be in the mix, and how much they play coming out the gate, I don't know. But they're going to see him this year, though. I think you'll see them both this year.
Ron, one thing that we saw in Coach Barrett's offense a year ago was Jawan Rogers was utilized so much at that position, the fullback, H-back, whatever you want to call that position.
Right.
who's the new Juwan Rogers? I mean, who's gonna fill that role here in 2017? Because he was so dynamic a year ago.
Yeah, well, we got a couple guys, you know, that played, you know, obviously they played last year as freshmen. Was Zeke Jenkins out of Oklahoma and Branson Swable right down from Oak Forest. You know, but they both played considerable amount of time, and Branson kind of brings they're a little different body types, a little bit different skill set. Branson's a guy that you know, is a big 6'5" guy, 250, that, you know, he can catch the ball, and he's more that guy. We can get out in space, and he can line up at wide receiver and run routes, and you can throw him the ball and do those things with it. And Zeke's more of the guy that's kind of a Juwan Rogers guy. He's the guy we're going to kind of have to lean on to do the dirty work inside and get after some folks. And then and also there's another one, young man out of Franklinton, a redshirt last year, Damian Dawson, has had a great fall camp. You know, and so we feel like we actually got a little deeper on that position too, because you got 3 of them in there, and then the fourth one that makes a young kid, a freshman out of Oak Forest again, Dalton Brabham. You know, I think as the season goes along, you're going to see him, you know, grow up as he's going to keep getting better and better and better. And as we go through the season, you're going to see him. But early on, right now, you know, obviously Branson Swable and Zeke Jenkins are 2 we're going to lean on most coming out, and then. Don't be surprised if Damian Dawson's the guy that comes in and does some more of that dirty work with Zeke Jenkins and have to go out and block some defensive ends and some bigger linebackers and do that stuff inside. And then, you know, then Dalton Brabham's the guy I think that gives some depth down the road, and he's definitely going to be a great player when he just gets more game experience under him.
I look outside. I look outside and look at the receiver position, and you know, again, compared to a year ago, where you know Juwan Dickey and Brandon Acker were so dynamic. We talked about it earlier that Southeastern was one of the top teams in the country in yards per catch. It seemed like, you know, run the ball, be physical, and then throw it over their heads, and we did that a whole lot a year ago. Obviously, Juwan Dickey's back, Brandon Acker's gone, and Graffy is back in the slot. You know, so some other guys are back as well. But who's maybe that other guy on the outside that we can see that's going to take that role from Brandon Acker?
Yeah, most I think it's, whatever, 6 out of the top 7 receivers are all back.
Right.
The one we lost was Acker, and so, you know, between the next, they're really taking Acker's spot is Niger Jackson.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Came in as in the spring, in taller kid. It runs well, you know, physical, can block through the whole bit. But you still got in there the other guys, J.J. Connor and Jocko Price. The other freshman that's going to step on the table that you're going to see early on, and he redshirted last year, and Austin Mitchell, that, you know, again, he's worked his way in there, and he's made some big plays during the fall camp. He runs really well. You know, he's a redshirt freshman, and you're going to see him early, and I would think our people are going to know his name pretty soon.
From just kind of listening to this conversation we just had over the last 10 or 12 minutes here about the offensive side of the football, the word that jumps to me is depth. It seems like you have a lot of guys, a lot of positions, that we're going to see a lot of different guys that maybe they're one of the deepest offenses we've had since you've been here.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, really, across the board, whereas we have enough depth of guys in positions that hopefully some injury, you know, it does happen, but injuries shouldn't, and it's not going to kill us, because when you get low at certain positions and you get 1 or 2 injuries, and you know, it can really affect you drastically. And that's one of the things we really feel better about right now is we've got a lot more guys in a situation to play and they're ready to go. And I didn't even mention who guy you'll see, because you're definitely going to see him on kick returns, and he's going to work his way in there and probably be a starter. I mean, I consider him to be a starter at least by I'm going to say week 3 or 4. I think he's going to be that way. Is Juwan Pettit, Ferrer, all right, and he's dynamic with the ball in his hands, just trying to learn the offense, that kind of stuff. But he's a guy that we're going to put back there for kickoff returns. And to be that guy, because he is a guy that, again, we can throw him the ball, he can catch it and make people miss and be a dynamic guy in space with the football.
I know he's from Orlando, Florida, but you know, in Louisiana we say Petit Frere.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's a good Louisiana name.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to have more right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
In Southeast Louisiana, one luxury automobile dealership stands apart from all the rest. Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans. It's more than just offering Mercedes-Benz vehicles, it's Star Service that prides itself on customer relationships.
From valet service and Mercedes-Benz loaner cars, our customers enjoy award-winning Star Service. Come see what Star Service is all about.
Visit Mercedes-Benz of New Orleans on Veterans in Metairie or at mbofno.com.
Across divisions, sports, championships, and schools for nearly 500,000 student athletes. College sports create lifelong opportunity, and that starts with education. We've raised the academic bar, so more are earning degrees, creating healthier campuses by working with the nation's brightest minds, and making sure more have the chance to succeed and are supported on their journey. But beyond the numbers, it's about opportunity, and we're working to provide it for every student athlete.
Welcome back. Already halfway home here as it's 7:30 on the Ron Roberts Radio Show. It's the debut here in 2017. We're back at Topla Catering. We want to invite you to come out for dinner and a show anytime you'd like. We're normally going to be on Mondays, but next week and this week we're on Tuesday due to the holiday next week and also a little scheduling conflict for this week. But we want to thank everyone who came out here tonight for the debut, and we look forward to seeing you each and every week as we talk Lion football. Coach, I meant to bring this up. I asked you today at the press conference. I wanted to ask you one more time. Going into the season, before we jump out of the offensive side of the football and go to defense, just to me, looking at it on paper, had a chance to maybe had one of the best offensive lines we've had here at Southeastern. And then that's even before you added Maya Tahima. Do you believe that's true? I mean, just it looks like to me the height, the size. I mean, this is the best looking group maybe we've had.
I think we have a chance. You know, we've had some kids that obviously played really well together. Yeah. You know, 13, 14 stand up to mind. You know, obviously those offensive lines just do a tremendous job of playing together. But yeah, there's an extreme amount of talent. One I didn't get a chance to mention, Kyle Strickland is also. I mean, I think he's got the potential to be a great player. And then, and I mentioned the press conference earlier about we've got some freshman offensive linemen that for the first time really here we had freshman offensive linemen come in and really, I mean, not to say the first time, but we had 3 of them that right now they're fighting for playing time. You know, when you talk about Elijah Hayes, Drew Jones, the center, Destrahan, and Drew Jones from Hanville, and then we got Miles Renton Character from St. Aug as a tackle, and those guys are all young kids that I mean, they're right on the cusp. I mean, of trying to break in the lineup, and that's exciting to see.
I think our fans will be pleasantly surprised, and this is just from me as a fan. This is not Coach Roberts saying this, but the body type. I mean, they're all tall. They're just athletic-looking guys. I think that we'll be very pleasantly surprised to see what kind of offensive line we're going to put out there here in 2017. Have a chance to be a really, really special group. Let's jump to the other side of the football, talk some defense, talk some special teams. Obviously, defense is your bread and butter right now, obviously the head coach, but also running the defense as well. Going into this season, obviously have some key returners coming back. But probably, if you look at this team on paper, maybe the biggest question mark is the defensive line position, because we lost so many good players at the defensive line that has played so many players. I was a little distracted.
They got strawberry cake over there, so. Sorry.
It's coming out. It's Kelly Wells' birthday.
I know it is, Kelly. Happy birthday, Kelly. Oh, there he is.
What were we talking about?
What was the question? Defense?
Defensive line.
Yeah.
I was talking about the cake got him all flustered. We were talking about defensive line. Talking about if you go into this year, maybe the biggest question mark, you look at the team, you say, hey, where's the hole? Yeah. Maybe the hole's the defensive line because you have so many new guys that have not played. Talk about some of those guys and where you stand going to that position and how you feel about it going into the year.
Yeah, it's a position, I think, it's probably a position where we're probably least experienced up front. We just don't have the guys that have been there, done that. But you know, start really is you start with Ron Cherry, young man from Lake Charles area that he's a redshirt freshman, redshirted last year, so he'll be a redshirt freshman starting for us at the defensive end. He started side. John Miller is a new guy. He's a transfer, came in the spring, junior college kid out of New York, and then. Carell Vaughn's got probably the most experience. He's a redshirt sophomore. Last year was redshirt freshman. Spot played a little bit. Got to play a little bit, but didn't really have any significant playing time. So those 3 kind of start us off, and then the next guys are still is pretty youthful in there. Monty Mitchell is another nose guard, and then you got a freshman in there, Felatoy Alua. And
Good pronunciation.
Yeah,
Good job.
Yep. And then, well, there's two, and also he'll be in there. But Fred Brown probably brings a little more experience on the table. He's a transfer, the kid, young guy out of Hanville again. Defensive end, newcomer, just got here. He's a sophomore that has really developed fast. I think in fall camp, he's really gotten a lot better. I think he's going to be a really good player for us.
They just brought some cake.
Thank you. Yeah. And. And then Abe Freeman's the other guy that we have. He would play linebacker for us, and we moved him down to the front. And he's an athletic, high tempo guy, and does that. And he'll be able to make some plays for us. So there's plenty of guys I think will be able to make plays and do those things. And I know I missed some guys in there as well, but I think it's a group that's going to have to prove themselves. It's a group that's going to find out, as we go through this thing, how many guys are we actually going to get in the rotation. We'd like to play 6. I plan on in game 1 playing 6 of them, 2 deep. We'll go in there and roll them. There's some other young guys in there. Where I'd say, Noah Vance, freshman, also out of Mississippi. He can get in there. I don't know if he's ready for game 1, but I think he's going to play as the season goes along. And then Tenano Galua is also another freshman out of Hawaii that we think, again, will develop into a really good football player for us.
Just from watching, my opinion, maybe not as big as we've been, but maybe a little more athletic. They can move a little bit.
I think all those guys all run well, and they're all good size. I mean,
I'm not saying they're little.
Yeah, they're not little. I mean, Ron Cherry's 6'2", 6'3", and he's 295.
Yeah.
Inside we're probably 285. Carell Vaughn's probably around 285, 290.
I've dropped this thing off the table about 5 times.
They're big guys. They're just, again, they are little, and they don't have a tremendous amount of game experience coming into it. So the kind of the question there's the group that probably is the biggest question mark. Say, hey, how are they going to do? And it's a group also with a tremendous amount of upside. They're going to get a lot better fast.
A year ago, we were having this conversation about linebackers, and now it seems like they've all played. All these guys that's going to roll out there seems like have played or that you're high on. Sione, Spite, Giannone, Clavel. I mean, just so many good players at the linebacker position. I'm sure that's got to be one of the strengths of this year's club going into the year.
Definitely, we got 3 senior linebackers that obviously I think they're all 3 really good players. I think they're all 3 impact players. You already mentioned Clavel also, but the newcomers in that mix, that names of guys maybe that are new. Kyle Neville's out of Walker. We'll play some Mike linebacker. Tamarcus Russell is a young man out of Alabama that we expect he's going to be a really good football player for us. And how fast those guys get in the mix and those things, and how much they play coming out the gate, I don't know. There's still a lot of new things for those guys. Again, we like to play a lot of guys. I'm going to try to play them early. How much they play early is going to really depend on how this week preparation goes and how well they can absorb game plans and do those things. And that's probably the biggest thing for new kids. Being able to absorb, this is what we did all camp, and then here's what we're doing for them.
I love coming to practice, Coach, and watching what's going on so I can think up some questions to ask you whenever I come here. And when we go to the secondary, I feel like you've been tinkering with the secondary. We've seen guys play in different spots and moving them around.
Yeah.
I know at one point in camp you had Ryan Seegers, seems like he's been playing here forever, but he was at the corner position, and now he's back at the safety position. Same thing with Torrance Mosley. Mosley had moved to safety. Now it looks like he's back over at corner. Just talk about some of those maneuvering and what you're doing back there in the secondary.
Yeah, again, we're just trying to figure out, guys, where can they make the biggest impact, and how can, trying to look to see if there's some things they could do for us that we weren't aware of. Could they do some things that we weren't sure about? And Ryan, like I said, Ryan Seegers is a guy that, again, has played a lot of football here. And he started out his career as a corner, moved inside for safety a couple of years. I thought really the biggest thing, we moved him out to corner because we weren't sure. We were going to have to get 2 new corners, felt we had to get 2 new corners. And weren't sure about the progress of those guys. So I needed a veteran out there. So we put Ryan Seegers to start camp out there, at corner. And then really just like the progress of Maori Ellison and Shamar Busby. I thought those 2 guys would really come along strong, and I think they've had great camps. And I felt we were in a position where I could move Ryan back to safety, and by doing that, we become a lot more athletic inside at safety position. And he's a veteran guy that's done it, and we knew he'd make the move pretty fast, and he'd pick it back up because he played it all last year. So And I think it was really just, that was a big question. I wasn't sure how these guys were going to come along at the corner position, and I thought they did a great job.
One thing that jumps out, maybe some new names, but if you look at your 5 DBs, if you look at the 2 deep, it's senior, sophomore, senior, junior, senior, junior, senior, senior, junior, senior. A lot of older guys in there. Yeah. I know there's some transfer players in there as well. I know Max Lyons is somebody that you love. Yeah. Came in and played dynamically a year ago. He's got the best hair in the conference, and had that interception against Nichols with a broken hand. He had the cast on his arm, and so certainly some playmakers back there. But I thought the experience and the age of these guys back there, it should be a veteran group.
Yeah, most of them have played. I mean, last year playing, we played probably on average a game. We played 12 DBs a game. So most of those guys, they have plenty. They've got game experience. They've been playing, or they weren't the starter or wherever else, but they played quite a bit. So I feel like it is a veteran group. When you go with Seegers and Max Lyons inside, it's the same 2 guys that started for us all last year. Jeff Williams takes over a new role, but he played every game last year, and he's had a great spring and a great fall camp. So we're excited about him. And then we're a little new probably at the corner position. Well, not new. Maori Ellison is this guy that we knew all along. I thought he had tremendous ability. I think he's a kid that if he have a great senior year, is an NFL prospect. He just got to go.
6'4" corner. Don't see a lot of those.
Yeah, he's got to go do it and show it and put it on film. And I think he's a guy that's going to have an opportunity to continue to play when we're done.
Let's touch on the kicking game real quick. I know that we got a lot to get here to tonight, but obviously this is an area that can win or lose games for you. Yeah. And again, when you look at this year, it's a lot of the same guys we've seen the last couple of years. So I think that's one of the big themes going into this season is we're consistent and going into guys that have been in the fire are going to be out there doing this. Now, one of the questions was the kicker position. This is one thing that kind of you flip-flopped. A year ago, Dylan Burkhart was handling kickoff roles, and Jonathan Tatum was kicking field goals. But that's actually flip-flopped here going into the season. Explain what happened in that situation.
Yeah, well, we had a pretty good competition all through spring, and really felt coming out of that. But obviously put the numbers up. Dylan was more consistent, and then came through fall camp. And I'm not saying Tatum didn't. Tatum and Dylan Burkhart just have been really consistent, and he's kicked really well. Nothing against what Tatum did. I thought he just as far as place kicking. Now, oddly enough, the way it worked out in fall camp was actually then Tatum started kicking kickoffs better. He changed his approach to the ball and all that stuff. And he kicks like today, the way he was pounding the ball 6-7 yards deep in the end zone when he's kicking the ball. So they kind of flopped, and I think they both accepted that, and I'm excited about it. I think we've gotten better. Especially we've got more consistent. It is our long snap. Anthony Freeman's his 2nd year doing it. This time last year, I had questions all of them. Oh my gosh, we're going on game 1. Not sure what's going to happen. Right. And then it really showed out. We not bad snap. We dropped a punt. We fumbled a punt return. We had different returners, kickers, holders, long snap. Everybody was brand new, and it was like, we had to learn on the road.
With not really preseason, that's one of the areas that can really get exposed, especially the first couple of weeks in college football, is those special teams positions.
Yeah, it's totally different. Then you get out there and put some screaming fans in the stands, and kids get nervous, and they ain't got a lot of experience at it. There's no telling what's going to happen.
So going in game 1, again looking at the 2 deep here, like you mentioned earlier, Juwan Petit-Frere, he'll be returning kicks, and then also Max Lyons returning punts.
Yeah, Max Lyons is going to return punts. And he's just a guy. I like really on the punt having a guy I can trust to make good decisions. And Max is a guy that I trust him about anything. He's a guy that I think we could line up quarterback next week. So you're going to play quarterback this week, and you need to get it done. I think he's going to find a way to get it done.
Well, that's certainly big, especially for one of your leaders. And Ron, we'll just call it like it is. When this team was winning championships, and we were doing a great job in the return game. Yeah. And I know that I've been out there. You're back hard working at it. Not that you didn't do the last couple of years, but it seems like that's certainly another point of emphasis in the kick return and the kick coverage game as well.
Yeah, it'd be huge. And it'd be huge coming out the gate in game 1. You got to play well in special teams. That's where it all starts. But if we're going to have an opportunity to compete for championships, we went up there. It don't matter what level you're talking about. And we kind of did the little thing for our Coach Swans, put it up for our players so they get the picture. There's no much talking about NFL, college, whatever else. We took all the stats and so. Who's ever in the top 3 in special teams? Every conference champion in the last 10 years in the Southland Conference, their special teams were 1 or 2. every conference champion. If it was 1 or 2 in the conference, and you can do the same thing in the NFL. And some people don't, they don't get it. And when we won in 13 and 14, we were number 1 in special teams. We were number 1.
Wasn't even close.
We weren't even close.
Right. I mean, so
yeah.
That's certainly a big stat. No, that's an education.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's certainly. Again, if you didn't hear that, and over the last 10 years, every Southland Conference champion has been either 1 or 2 in special teams production. So obviously, special teams are a big part of the game, and I think Southeastern, the Lion fans, should feel good about going into this year. A lot of got names that have been there and done that, and going into the Fire Week 1, some guys that have been out there certainly doing that. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to spend the rest of our time together getting you ready for this weekend's game against UL Lafayette, right here on the Ron Roberts Radio Show on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network.
Rendy's Quick Stop, located just outside the gates of Southeastern on University Drive, has everything you need in a convenience store. If you're looking for a quick snack or a full-service cold drink fountain, hot food to go from Champ's Chicken and Fish 2, or an ice-cold beer, make sure you visit Rendy's Walk-In Beer Cooler. Rendy's also has a huge selection of import and domestic wine. So whether you're running low on gas or whether you just want to pick up lunch or supper to go, visit Rendy's Quick Stop. Rendy's accepts Lions Lanyap for Southeastern students. Rendy's Quick Stop, a proud supporter of Southeastern football.
NCAA Division I FCS football is a game of perseverance, integrity, passion, character, and sportsmanship. As he works to honor the game, every FCS student-athlete grows in his responsibilities as a student and as a member of his campus and community. Dedicated to personal growth and success in the classroom, the NCAA Division I FCS, every down, every day.
Welcome back inside Topla Catering. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We're at Topla Catering, 113 East Thomas Street, right around the corner from the main restaurant. We have our own room here. The staff's over here working hard, as we're glad to be back here in downtown Hammond for the Ron Roberts Radio Show here in 2017. We have just over 10 minutes left to go here on our program. We want to thank everyone who came out here tonight as we're getting you ready for the 2017 season. Our Lions will kick it off this Saturday, 6 o'clock kickoff at Cajun Field in Lafayette against UL Lafayette. And Coach, I know that whenever we saw this one added to the schedule a couple of years ago, whenever the contract was signed, and this was a game that I think a lot of people would get excited about. It's an FBS game that's local, only a couple hours away. A lot of our fans can make that trip as well. It's not a plane flight or anything like that. And this is 2 programs that have not played since 1981. And I'm sure we're glad to get this rivalry back going.
Yeah, I think it's a great game for us, just because of the things you just mentioned. But it's also good for us in recruiting, just because it's it's another game in state where high school kids and stuff can see us play. We're going to get a lot of pubs just because of UL and the Lafayette area. I think that there's a lot of great reasons to continue this game. Hopefully, we can do something consistently and be able to continue playing.
Like I mentioned, these 2 schools have actually played 38 times. UL Lafayette actually leads the series 18-17 with 3 ties. The last meeting, Lions won, beat UL Lafayette 7-0 in 1981. They're coached by Mark Hudspeth. I know that you are familiar with Coach Hudspeth, that you battled him when he was at North Alabama and you were at Delta State, and obviously both of you guys have moved on from that and done very well from those programs. But I know that y'all had some wars back in the day in the D2 games.
Yeah, we got to play each other multiple times, because usually we played each other twice a year, once in regular season, another time in the playoffs, and usually every time in the season was for a conference championship. I am familiar with him. They don't look a lot very similar as what the things he used to do. So, but he's always. I got a lot of respect for him. His teams always play extremely hard. They're going to be well coached. They're going to play the game with a lot of passion. He's a fiery guy, and I think it comes across in the way his players play the game.
Ron, how do you get ready for a game like this in the way of they have a new offensive coordinator this year. They've been very successful the last few years. They've been to bowl games. It seems like they're in the New Orleans Bowl every year. but I know it's always tough when you go into game one when they have a change, especially on the offensive side of the football, of how knowing what to game plan for. I know they're going to have a new starting quarterback from a year ago, some new key faces. So certainly when you go out there that first quarter, it's almost like a boxing match. You got to kind of feel each other out, what other teams are doing.
Yeah, that is some challenges playing them. Just they did change offensive coordinators. So what did they do in spring ball? What did they do in fall? How much different are they? And I expect them to be quite a bit different. We kind of really at this point really kind of prepare for anything. But you kind of have to do it every year in game one because you don't care who you're playing. You don't know what they put in wrinkles and how they change things throughout fall camp and through spring practice. So there's a lot of time in between the last time they put something on film. So everywhere you got to kind of get ready for everything, the possibility of seeing, and then the biggest thing is how fast can you adjust.
And I'm sure that there's a lot of names on their roster as well that you recruited. I know that you guys battle on guys all the time.
There's several kids obviously we're familiar with, and they've got a lot of talent. I mean, they've got a lot of kids that were heavily recruited, so there's a lot of kids that we are familiar with. They're very talented. They're across the board. They're talented both sides of the football. And wide receivers, D-line, you name it. They got an NFL corner. They got several receivers that are going to have opportunity to continue to play. They got some offensive linemen that are going to continue to play. So they're probably sitting on a team with maybe 14 NFL prospects.
They put a thing out in the game notes every week where they kind of give you like some things to know and just a couple of stats, or not stats, but maybe little tidbits that you might look at going into the game. Is UL is actually one of only 9 FBS schools in the country with a linebacking core that has fewer than 10 combined career starts. So a lot of newcomers on the defensive side ball for them, and also that they're only one of 8 FBS programs that will have a quarterback making their first career start this season. So they're going to have a new guy at quarterback, maybe an opportunity to rattle him, getting ready for getting him in college football. I want to ask you what they do defensively, style-wise. Coach Mike Lucas, that was actually that coached here. I'm sure everyone remembers that. He is their defensive coordinator over there at UL Lafayette. But schematically, what are they doing defensively? I know you've had a chance to watch tape, and he was their D coordinator a year ago as well.
Yeah, they've kind of been multiple. He's going to run some odd, and they're going to run some even. So they run 4 down, or they'll be in the 50 defense. But it's been multiple, a lot of pressure. It's pretty aggressive with it. He really did a good job. I thought last year when he took over, he really turned around defensively. And he's had success everywhere he's been as a defense coordinator. He's been very successful, and I expect it to be an aggressive defense we're going to see, and I think it'll be well coached.
All right, Ron, just a couple of minutes left to go here on our program. We've covered a lot here tonight. Looked at your team up and down. Talked about the offseason program and offensive, defensive, special teams. I know that we could do this show all night because we have so much to talk about going into the season. But again, you've got to be excited going into this Saturday. And what do you expect to get out of your club this week? And what do you expect out of them? I know you expect them to play hard, and obviously there's going to be some mistakes out there. But certainly glad to get out there and play somebody else.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And you want to be able to go out there and be able to evaluate where you're at and see what you got to do to get. What do you got to get better at? For conference, to have an opportunity to compete for a conference championship. What areas do we have to make improvements? What do we got to do? But what I want more than anything, really, I expect us to come out there and play like a veteran ball club. I want to come out there and play like, I don't want us making a bunch of mistakes like a rookie football team. We don't want to be doing that stuff. We need to go out there. We got veterans in spots, and we need to play like it. And we talk about it as it's more about us than it is them. And game one, we just go out there and take care of our business, and that's what I want to see. I want to see us play consistent and hard, and whoever we put on the field, I want them to respond and act like a daggum starter. And I think if that's the team I think we're at, and that's what I expect them to do on Saturday.
All right, people that are maybe new to our show, we do this each and every week where we actually take questions that are like either messaged in or emailed in, and got a couple that came through here tonight that we're going to make that more prevalent as the year goes on. But Coach, a couple of maybe some interesting ones coming in. I thought this one was good, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you name a name, but I think it does certainly show some guys that have coached under you. But it says, Coach Roberts, not only do you do a great job of developing players, you've done an outstanding job developing graduate assistants and full-time assistants. You have former assistants at FBS programs like LSU, Texas Tech, UTSA, Arkansas, Colorado. But really, who was your best former GA or student assistant?
From Patrick Tony.
From Patrick Tony.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But I'm just for the sake of this, I'm going to have to go with Patrick Tony. Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I saw that other question too.
You saw, yeah. I was going to say that one other. Obviously, the some guys that coached with you before are listening here tonight. Because then I get a message on Twitter that's from Pete Golding that says, "Coach, you gonna fake a punt this weekend?"
That is a possibility. Yep. If it's 4th down, don't go get something to eat.
But Ron, seriously, I mean, you do look around the country. You have a lot of guys out of your coaching tree that have done very well, and I know that you wish all those guys the best of luck. Certainly, as college football is getting started here for everybody around the country.
Yeah, there's a lot of them getting ready to go this weekend, and those guys have all done a great job here. I feel fortunate to have been lucky enough to have some of those guys on my staff and have the opportunity to work with them.
Ron, just a couple of minutes left. Give us kind of your final thoughts of the night as we get ready for your club as we open up the 2017 season at UL Lafayette, a 6 o'clock kickoff at Cajun Field in Lafayette.
I'm excited about the year. I think we've got what we have. We've got things in place to make a run. But then we can't worry about that stuff. Right now, we have to worry about Saturday, and you got to take them one at a time. And we are going to see probably the most talented team we're going to see. We're going to see it in game one. It'll be the most talented team we'll see all year. I'll say that. But that's what I mean. It don't matter. I mean, you go in game one, and it's who's going to really take care of their business. You put the ball on the ground, you fumble the ball. If you have penalties, you're offsides. You're doing all these things that holding penalties, stuff that are keeping you back. Then it's a tough way to win a ball game in game one. I think we got veterans. We need to go out there and play error-free football, and I'm excited about our opportunity, and I'm excited about our chances.
Well, Ron, I'm glad to be back with you here again in 2017. It's always a lot of fun spending our time together. As just a reminder, we're going to be back again on Tuesday night next week. So Tuesday night we'll be right here at Toe Block Catering as we'll break down the UL Lafayette game and then get you ready for Bethune-Cookman. But normally we're going to be on Monday night from 7 to 8 o'clock. So this week and next week, Tuesday, and from the rest of the season, it will be on Monday night. A reminder of where you can always listen to your Southeastern Lions is on the Southeastern Sports Radio Network. That's 90.9 FM KSLU, also KJ 107.1 FM, the Highway 104.7 FM, and WFPR 1400 AM. We want to thank all of those different stations and affiliates for getting us on the air each and every week so we can bring Lion football to you guys. Also, you can always listen to live audio at the game at lionsports.net/listen live. And we're excited for football. I know everyone's chomping at the bit to get after it this weekend as our Southeastern Lions will take on UL Lafayette. Anything else you want to say as we're going to sign it off here tonight?
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody down there on Saturday. It's
I
going
think
to be a great game.
crowd.
I think it's going to be a great environment. I know obviously Lafayette, they packed their house and they're going to have a great crowd. So it's going to be a great environment for everybody around. It should be a good football game, good exciting football game.
Well, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, stay safe as the rain may still be in the area. We want to send our thoughts and prayers once again to that Houston community as they are dealing with Hurricane Harvey. We want to thank everyone who came out here tonight. Obviously, all of our sponsors that gets us on the air each and every week. And a reminder, this show will be taped and videoed every week. It will be on Facebook later tonight. So if you didn't hear the whole thing, as we're waving to you right there, you can check it out on the Southeastern Athletics Facebook page later on tonight. For Coach Ron Roberts, I'm Alan Waddell. We'll see you Saturday in Lafayette. Good night, everybody.